How many Michaels are you giving The Long Walk?
I think 5.
What?
I could give it 6.
Wait. You thought it was bad?
I thought there were nuggets of greatness sandwiched by long moments of boring.
I gave The Long Walk 9 Michaels.
I'm sorry.
That's ridiculous.
When all of those conversations with the guys talking to each other, it gave me
it was heartwarming.
It game me high school theater vibes.
What?
Like they kept doing this number right here where they're like talking to each other and they're like, hey man, hey, come on. And that's like the go-to, like, I don't know what to really do with my hands movement. Like I wasn't totally buying a lot of the deliveries. The deliveries I did buy were the death scenes. The death scenes were the redeeming aspect of this movie. So I gave it a 5, not because I thought the whole movie was mid, but because there were moments where it was like, in my opinion, boring. And then there were really good moments. So it was like kind of going back and forth between this, and it just averaged out to me.
I could pivot from a 9 to an 8.5 only because I walked away from that movie, and the only things that really bothered me were I don't think I could ever rewatch The Long Walk. Like, I don't think I'll ever rewatch it.
You're going to give a movie a 9 that's not rewatchable? I thought
that's why it's not getting a 10.
But rewatchability is such a big part of, like,
that's why it's not
rating.
giving a 10.
It's only worth 1 point? Rewatchability is only worth 1 point?
In this case, it depends how good the movie is. If the movie's really... I thought Mickey 17 was great. I'm probably never going to rewatch that movie again, but I also give that 8.5 and 9.
I would have rewatched the hell out of that.
Not for me. But anyway, so I don't think it's very rewatchable, and I do think that some of the development for the ensemble characters is a little bit cheap. Like, I don't necessarily buy how one character is a certain way and then suddenly decides, and that's more of a spoiler thing. I think I don't know how to talk about this movie without spoilers.
Okay, let's just go to spoilers.
I don't understand how what is his Bamovich, whatever, the bully kid.
You
know who I'm talking about?
The killer,
the guy with the bandana.
Yeah.
I don't understand how he goes from cocky to I'm gonna kill myself. Like, yeah. I get that there's moments where he's realizing he's the sour egg of the group. But I think it's too drastic of a jump.
Mm-hmm.
And I get that this game has mind jumps, but I'm like, I don't really feel like we're all that developed. And there's so many other characters that also just kind of feel like they give up so quickly without getting to know them. It's an ensemble movie. It's hard, which is why I'm like, this is not that big of a deal. He was the only character I was like, that doesn't feel satisfying.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's my only issues with the movie. Like, maybe some parts drag a little bit.
I think they drag a lot. They don't really go into, like, the backstory. It's just them walking a lot.
They don't need to go into the backstory.
They kind of do.
No.
I honestly didn't care about any of the characters. When people were dying, I only thought it was, like, very graphic, but I didn't actually think it was, like, that emotionally wrenching. Like, the only time that I actually, like...
You just said every death was its redeeming quality.
Yeah, because it was so visceral. Not because I actually thought...
See, I felt it every single time. I was like, that, like, breaks my heart. Every single time, my heart broke more and more and more.
The only time it actually, like, affected me emotionally was when that guy was like, I did it all wrong! I did it all wrong! That's such a good line, but I bet Stephen King wrote it.
Crushed me.
But honestly, I didn't think that character... I know he was supposed to be, like, the comedic relief almost, you know? Like the goofball, character that you're supposed to love. I just thought he cussed a lot. If you haven't watched this movie yet, when you watch it, play a drinking game. Every time they cuss, drink. Because I promise you, it's every sentence. It's every single sentence. And sometimes like 2 or 3 times in a sentence.
I thought this movie I thought the story was actually really strong. And I thought the way it carried me from character to character, the way it, like, hooked me in from death to death, and the ending of the movie was so meaningful in the sense of this whole time Pete is lecturing Ray, hey, choose love, choose love, choose love. And honestly, I truly believe if Ray won The Long Walk, he would have chose love. And it's so interesting to me and so, like, just beautiful that despite Pete telling him, hey, you need to choose love, he had so much love for his new brother, and their bond grew so strongly after 5 days that he actually took his path. They traded paths.
That was cool.
That was so cool.
That's what I'm saying. Is that
It's so meaningful.
I think there were some great nuggets in there.
And I think like that builds up because despite them going like, hey, yeah, we're best friends, we're best friends, we're walking. I do think they were incredible actors throughout the movie.
Hey, come on, walk a little bit more with me. Walk a little bit. Hey,
see,
that
didn't even bother me for a second. I felt like it was actually a very natural thing in that moment.
It kind of reminded me of like that when we were in high school, we made a short film. What was it? Containment. And it reminded me of like watching that film where it was like we were kids, we were, kind of flexing our acting chops.
I think that's
and
crazy.
It was like, there's some potential here, but I don't think that they're like, it wasn't really captivating me yet. The best performance, I think, and I'm not saying that anyone did bad in this movie, by the way. I'm not saying anyone did bad, but I think the best actor was the guy who played Pete.
David Johnson. I think he's one of the best actors of his generation.
Wow.
I really do.
Nice. Even Mark Hamill, I was like, he's a great voice actor. I don't know if I really bought his role as the Major. You know what I mean?
He did. I will say he didn't necessarily seem menacing.
He didn't seem menacing.
Like every time they were like, you thought like they like would tell him, they'd be like, hey, like fuck you. Yeah. He'd be like, that's the sack I like to see. Like that's what it takes to live. He was very encouraging.
He just kind of seemed like a
you guys are brave.
He just kind of seemed like a drill sergeant, basically.
Yeah.
And so
I can understand that.
I mean, and also like, I didn't understand the mentality of like trying to. They all know that only one of them's gonna make it out. So when they keep telling their friends to walk longer, you're just making them suffer for longer. Like they're just gonna die with like blisters on their feet,
but that's part of
shit in their pants, internal hemorrhaging.
That's part of the story and part of the story of like brotherhood and bond and the scenario. You want a backstory? You got to think about it. They don't want to be doing the long walk. None of them want to be doing it. They feel like society makes them do the long walk. So they're not actually in it to like, hey, I hope you all die. They sympathize and they care with each single man doing the walk. And that's why they become friends.
Yeah, but you're just making your friends suffer for longer.
No,
by saving them.
It's
by making them walk for longer. I mean, again, like that one dude literally died with like internal hemorrhaging, and he like shit his pants. And a weird amount of this movie is about shitting yourself.
It's a very realistic part of the game.
Sure.
That's exactly what I was wondering.
You can't stop walking. And also every time, like, it was just a funny imagery of like, every time someone's getting like shot in the head behind them, they can't stop walking. So they're just walking away from someone being brutally murdered. They're like power walking. They're like, no! It's just like the imagery is just strange to me. You know what I mean?
I think this is in my top 5 movies of the year.
I think there were some very powerful moments, sandwiched by moments I could care less about. Like,
interesting.
What were they even talking about for half the movie? Because there were just random moments where they were talking about like nothing essentially. There were so many scenes where I was like, they could have cut that. They were talking about like motives, like why they're there. No, there were moments where they were talking about nothing.
There's like one bit where they were talking about Ray's mom, and that was it. Like one bit.
No, they were
like what they would win. Like it was. I disagree completely. I don't know. Now, this is based off a book.
Right, a Stephen King book.
There's actually a lot of differences to the point where if you read the book before you watched the movie, if you read the book before you watched The Long Walk in theaters, you'd actually still be surprised at the ending because they changed the ending. So here's a couple of notable changes. First of all, Stebbins, the like really in shape guy,
right?
He actually is still the Major's son.
Okay.
But he's not the one who gets sick. He's never sick. He actually finishes in the top 2.
Oh.
But he dies of fright. There's a whole like mysterious like shadow figure that's completely cut from the movie that's in the book.
Shadow figure?
Yeah, that's like coming towards them, and like Ray's more intrigued by it, but Stebbins dies of fright.
Okay.
Which also brings me to my next point. Ray actually wins the long walk.
Right.
Yeah, and the Major doesn't die.
Oh.
Like, so he doesn't like, so Pete, David Johnson's character, comes in third. So he does sacrifice himself. And he does save Ray and all that, but he doesn't win, which is obviously the biggest change because in the long walk in the movie, Pete wins and he kills the Major, just like Ray wanted.
Mm-hmm.
So this is actually the first time when I was reading all the like subtle differences between the book and the movie. This is the first time I was like, they actually improved the book. They made the book better than the movie.
Okay.
Or they made the movie better than the book.
Okay.
And I just like I think that ending is so impactful. Like just the choice of like them switching paths and the showcasing of their brotherhood and how strong it was and the mystery of like, well, what happens to Pete now? Does he walk free? Does like the long walk continue? Like there's such a mystery that will always remain unsolved, and it's kind of beautiful because that's what Stephen King does, right? He doesn't write a lot of franchises outside of like what it. I don't know. I don't know how many sequels Stephen King has written.
Right.
I'm sure there's not one for the long walk, or at least not one that's gonna be relevant for the movie.
I don't know. Yeah.
So I don't know. That's just some notable differences.
Okay. Yeah, I can definitely see why you would think it's a great movie. I would have liked some more backstory for the characters. Like there's really only like one flashback, and so I felt like most of the movie I was just kind of like waiting for the next thing to happen, you know.
There was some moments like I did expect Bandana Kid to do some type of sabotage, but that just never happened again. But that was part of my note. Like he went from point A to point B real quickly.
Yeah.
But no, I really enjoyed the long walk.
Nice.
I'm sorry that you gave it a 5 or a 6. Is what are you settling on?
I'll give it a 6
6 Michaels
because I didn't dislike it.
I think you got me down to an 8.5.
Okay.
Because I do think you make valid points. I just don't think they're as heavy as you think they are.
I don't love the dialogue. I think that the acting is pretty good, but it's not as captivating as I would have liked because it's a scene. It's all basically in one setting, and they're just walking. You know, it's like the dialogue needs to be very, and the acting needs to be very captivating. Like, have you ever seen? I doubt you've seen this Heretic.
No.
Okay, that's a kind of recent movie. I think it came out last year. It's a horror movie / thriller, and most of the movie is just what's the guy who played the Oompa Loompa in the Wonka movie with
Hugh Grant.
Hugh Grant. It's most of the movie is Hugh Grant like monologuing, and it's actually super captivating because he's such a good actor that you can just watch him ramble and you're on the edge of your seat. I don't know if any of the actors in this movie are at that point in their career yet.
I don't know. Like I said, I willing to bet David Johnson becomes an Academy Award winner.
He stole the show to me.
And he is so talented.
And again, nobody did bad. I'm not trying to disrespect anybody.
No, you know I mean let's talk about this for a second. Like David Johnson, I think is going to win an Academy Award. I think he's going to be one of the best actors of his generation.
Nice.
The biggest surprise to me was actually Ben Wang. I don't know if it's Ben Wang or Ben Wang. He was the kid who was the comedic relief. I know you upset that he cursed like every 2 seconds.
That's a writing thing.
Did you realize he was the Karate Kid?
No.
When I was watching the Karate Kid,
I was like, that name sounds familiar.
He
killed in the Karate Kid.
When I was watching the Karate Kid, I was like, I was curious. I was like, is this like he's good, but he's playing like part of me. I was so impressed with how different of a character and how different he can make his voice and how different he can be.
Yeah.
Just by seeing these two movies relatively close together, I was super impressed by him.
Yeah.
So good. And Cooper Hoffman, I actually think is actually quite beautiful. Not him I think this situation is quite beautiful. Cooper Hoffman got to play Ray in this movie, directed by Francis Lawrence or Lawrence Francis. I can't remember his name, but he directed the Hunger Games movies.
Nice.
So he directed his father, who passed away because his father played. Oh God, I can't remember names right now. This is ruining it. But his father was the main game maker in Catching Fire, and then in the Rebellion of Mockingjay Part 1 and Part 2.
So the guy who played the major son, that actor's dad.
Not the major son.
Oh, no?
No.
Oh, Ray, the main character.
The main character.
Okay. So the guy who played Ray, his dad was in the Hunger Games.
Right.
And so
they both
acted under the same director.
Yes.
That's what you're saying.
I thought that was really cool.
That is really cool. That is, and that got the dad passed away, right?
Right. The dad passed away, and in this movie, in The Long Walk, there's a level.
So it's really sweet that the actor who played Ray got to I guess
and the character, obviously his father wasn't brutally murdered in real life, but his character Ray, his dad was his hero,
right?
So he wanted to follow in his dad's footsteps, and so in some ways he's doing that in real life, in real time, which I thought was really cool.
That is really cool.
Yeah. I think that's our episode, Michael.
I think that's our episode too. One more thing. That makes sense that the director also did the Hunger Games because, again, the death scenes were, in my opinion, the best part. And so so I think the director really did a good job of showing, the impact and the power of, these these children being forced to like compete to the death.
Was
you know?
Hunger Games based off The Long Walk? Like, I couldn't stop thinking about it. There's so many
I
similarities.
think it was based on something like I think it was called like Battle Royale or something like that.
I don't know. There's so many
I
similarities.
think there's a book called Battle Royale where it's like children actually fighting to the death.
I'm there's so many similarities. It's crazy. So I gotta look into that.